Hey folks, Mika here from the land not on most world maps again. The November releases have been going on pretty strong, but here are a few picks from December that we think you might be interested in. Alright, the name Striking Distance Studios might not ring a bell with any of you, but if we told you they also include creators related to the Dead Space franchise, the game Callisto Protocol might just be up your dark, spooky alley. As per namesake, the game takes place on one of the moons of Jupiter, Callisto. On a prison colony there, you take control of our protagonist, Jacob Lee. Sporting a pretty familiar interface on the back of Jacob's head, you are forced to use what a little ammo, resources, your wit, and Jacob's telekinetic powers to make your way through what seems to be an alien outbreak, possibly engineered by the personnel there. With graphics powered by Unreal 4, an emphasis on 3D audio, and the devs, quote, trying to make the scariest game on next-gen platforms, Callisto Protocol is shaping up to be an excellent spiritual successor to the team's earlier work. Arguably the most talked about and loved racing game of yesteryear, Need for Speed is far from its halcyon days. But here's EA and Criterion back and trying to win the hearts and the crown again with Need for Speed Unbound. With a vastly different style compared to the games of old, Unbound seeks to recapture the aesthetic of street racing. The game is set in an open-world area of Lakeshore City, a collection of narrow streets and wide mountain ranges for your character to speed through as they try to recover a car lost from their possession. The heat system returns as well, with police forces out to stop you and contestants to bet and win against. While all the old bells and whistles of tuning and body kits remain, you can also add on graffiti-like flourishes to further give yourself a bit of personality whilst racing, or turn them off if you don't like it. Still, it remains to be seen whether the game can deliver, or is set to bound on out of here in flames. Square Enix has been pumping out a lot of remasters of their classic games, but none could be perhaps more anticipated than Final Fantasy VII's Crisis Core Reunion. A remaster of arguably one of the best games to grace the PlayStation Portable, Crisis Core puts you in the shoes of Zack Ware, in a prequel set 7 years before the events of the main game. Stepping into his role as a soldier working for arguably the antagonist of the main game, Zack finds himself in a mission to find his missing mentor, Angel, and another member of Soldier called Genesis, with returning characters such as Aerith and Cloud, as well as party members of the Turks making an appearance. Crisis Core explains the events that lead up to Final Fantasy VII. So, what improvements can we expect this time? Well, for one thing, combat seems more fluid. You can actually combo your attacks, which was not possible on the PSP version, by the way, since it suffered a bit from input lag. Overall graphics and performance aside, you have an improved score, full voice acting, and even slight changes to the battle system, with your limit break actually being separated from the roulette mechanic unlike before. Surprisingly, it doesn't seem like they're making any changes to the story despite the release of Final Fantasy VII Remake. It seems the price of freedom is still steep indeed. From something more serious to something more lighthearted, we have another Square Enix pick with Dragon Quest Treasures. Starring Eric and Mia from Dragon Quest XI, we have the two in their younger years whisked away to the mystical land of Draconia. If Pokemon Scarlet and Violet did not fulfill your hopes of exploring a vast, interesting world with monsters you can befriend, Dragon Quest Treasures got you covered. Other than relying on your monster friends to battle, they'll help you with traversal and even point out where the treasure is with their monster vision. Establish your own base, fill out your treasury, and rank up to recruit even more monster friends to send out on their own expeditions. You can then display your most valuable hunts in a vault, though I'm not sure why since I don't think this has multiplayer. While the ultimate goal of the game is to obtain the 7 MacGuffins, the 7 Dragon Stones, before your rival teams, Dragon Quest Treasures seems like an excellent spin-off to the main series. You know, I have this one friend who always laughs at the mention of the myth of Baba Yaga. Something about the name always gets a chuckle out of him. But whether Blacktail from developer Parasite will do the same for you is a bit of a question. Based on the Slavic myth of, yes, Baba Yaga, you take control of the masked Yaga. After the disappearance of her only friend and defender, her sister, Yaga is cast out of her village on the accusation of witchcraft. Now in the wilderness, armed with only her trusty bow, she's forced to confront the many myriad of creatures out here, and even her own memories as they return as spirits, all while she was trying to find her sister. The game itself seems to be based on survival RPG mechanics, but with a morality system of swords stacked on top, dictated by how you apparently interact with the many colorful myths of Islamic lore. Regardless, the game is shaping up to be a very interesting take on the whole thing, and we're curious as to see whether you end up being a good witch or the Baba Yaga of legend. And that's it. Those are our picks for December. We probably have quite a bit of stuff left over from November, but if you feel like we missed something really great, let us know in the comments below. Here's Mika from the land not on most world maps again, signing off.